And now up to bat, the most highly paid athlete in MLB history. Why do we pay this guy $1 million? What do you think? Should this guy get paid millions to miss 60% of the time? Hello humans, welcome to the Daily Think Share. My name is Zach. I'm here to bring to you what I've been thinking about, sharing about, listening to, reading about that I don't have time to teach a math class. And if you're new to this channel, I invite you to subscribe. So I was listening to the Tim Ferriss podcast the other day, and he was talking about how important fear is and how important failure is. One of the really interesting points I thought he brought up about failure, that everyone goes through it. He said that at some point he had talked to Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan had missed over like 10,000 shots or something. Probably the most in the NBA, but at the same time, greatest players to ever play the game. Major League Baseball players, I think it was Ted Williams, they said, broke the record, highest batting percentage, and which has never been broken, but he didn't even go above 500. So if you think about it, if you look at MLB players today, some of the best players out there aren't even making it 40% of the time. Most of the time, it's under 40%. They're failing over 60% of the time. So if you think about failure as on the way to your destination, it's so much easier to deal with it. If we all were to assume that we're gonna have to deal with failure at some point in life, in anything that we wanna have mastery in, it would be so much easier to take on failure. So one of the things that I've used this kind of concept for is in my classroom. A lot of times there have been days where I've just really been sad the way that it went, that the lesson didn't get taught, or my students really were not impressed with what I had, they got bored, etc. But one of the important things is that I learned from it. Arnold Schwarzenegger in the same podcast had said, it doesn't matter how many times you fall, it's how many times you get back up. We've all heard that one probably before. But the fact is that if you want to be a master at something, you need to fall a lot.
Like a lot.
Consider, whatever it is that you're working on, that failing is on the way to it. Another example was yesterday I went to a local basketball court in Lowell, and I was playing with, I think he was like a 7th or 8th grader from one of the schools, and I said to him, hey, like you and me, like I got like a 1.5 feet on you. Why don't we play a one-on-one game where both of us are playing what we're worst at? So I told him I have a horrible mid-range jump shot, and I said, what's your worst part of your game? He said, well, probably driving to the lane and playing against big guys. I said, all right, so I will only defend you in the lane, and you have to shoot within 5 feet. I'll just start by putting my hands up like this, and eventually, like if you're beating me, I'll start really trying to swat you all the time. And I only shot mid-range jump shots, which I never do. I always use my size to my advantage. So I thought to myself, the best way that the two of us could get better in that time, instead of just having it be a size matchup and a really big mismatch, is have us both play to our worst parts. Have us both learn and fail at what we're worst at. So what is it that you want to accomplish out there that you're just unwilling to fail at? Consider that if you're unwilling to fail at it, you're unwilling to really be a master in it. If you want to be a master in something, you gotta fail. That's just part of the direction to go. Last thing is, in the compound effect, he talks about learning to deal with your failure rather than having to get away from your failure. And another really great book is Go for No, where he talks about failure being on the way to success rather than the opposite direction, like success in this direction, failure in this way. No, failure is here, success is here. You got to go through failure to get to success. So, hope this was useful. If you liked it, give it a like. If you want, subscribe. You can hit the red button down below or the button up here. And if you're in Facebook, you're gonna have to log into your Google account to subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this. Hope it was useful. Thank you for watching. Stay weird.